everyone, it's Daphne from Scrap and Create, and I'm back to share with you the completed mini album. This is my 8.5 by 8.5 Prima Golden Coast mini album, and I just completed it, and I'm so excited to share it with you. I think it turned out just gorgeous. So I'm going to go kind of slow and talk about some of the features. I did, in my tutorials, go over how to assemble some of the embellishments, but not all of them. So on the cover, this is the sort of the signature page, even though it's not the top page in the collection. It was one of my favorites. So I used 2 sheets and I fussy cut the balloon out and popped it. This is also fussy cut, and then I added this window. Now beneath this, this pink sheet and this window is part of the base page, and I didn't actually like this part of the collection, so I actually cut a little square to add there, and then I added my embellishments on the bottom. And here you'll see some of the flowers that I've added as embellishments, and this is all part of the Prima Golden Coast collection flowers. And actually I think this one's from the fruit collection. I think it's raspberry or something. Anyway, in the description, if you click the more button, there'll be a link to each one of the products that I've used in this mini album. This twine here is just from my stash. Everything else here you see is from the Prima Golden Coast collection or from the fruit collection. And I think these tiny roses are from the fruit collection. As part of this collection, they made this set of trinkets, which I think are just adorable, that go with the collection. So you've got flamingo, and you've got 2 shells and a pair of sunglasses. The chain is from my personal stash. This is a Tim Holtz jump ring. This is one of the cut-aparts that I just used to hold all the charms on. And the back is just a simple flat page. I loved this design, so I didn't really want to cover it up or do anything special to it. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and open it up and get started. I'm really happy with the way the cover turned out. This element right here is fussy cut and popped. The balloon is fussy cut and popped. This is, and this is. And then otherwise it's just layered flowers. The inside cover is just plain. I went back and forth with the idea of putting a pocket here, but I just really didn't want to cover up the patterns. So I left it simple. Here I've got a combination of fussy cut flowers from one of the collection pages, the Prima dimensional flowers, and then this is part of the ephemera. And then inside I just made a simple photo mat with a cancer card. So that's page 1. And then all of my photo mats will look the same. They'll have the same front and same back. So that's page 1, very simple. Page 2 and 3. Here I've featured 2 flaps. I've got a collection of flowers here in the corner and a fussy cut special handling from one of the pages. It's actually not an ephemera, it's from one of the pages that I fussy cut. And here you'll see I'm also using those Say It in crystals. And then here's another one up here. And so on my first flap, I've got some flowers that are layered on top here. And then I've got some that were underneath. And then here is a card that's stashed inside this second photo mat. So I'm going to lay that down so you can see the whole thing. So a top photo mat, a bottom photo mat, and then a hidden pocket here. And another piece of ephemera here. So I'm pretty happy with the way that layered. And then I just use a simple piece of twine to keep it all closed. And I actually used twine, magnets, and a swing tab. So I kind of went all over the place with closures in this album. So you've got some different options. Some more of the crystals featured here. This is from the ephemera pack, and then I just backed it with cardstock. And then there's some designer paper behind it, nothing special about it. It has a magnet in it, and it's what's holding everything closed here. And then I want to lift this up so you can see. This is one of the ephemera cards, and there was 2, so I fussy cut the building out and popped it. So you've got some dimension there. And I did the same thing with the flowers. There's flowers on the card, and then there's some more flowers underneath with a tuck spot for your photo. And then this whole thing opens up. And then on this side, I've got this simple card, and this card is what's holding this waterfall in place. And it's just a 4-card waterfall, like so, okay? And then the card, like I said, slips in the pocket and holds the waterfall in place. So I've gone back and forth using different features to keep things closed. Again, this whole thing stays closed with this swing flap right here. And then we've got a nice large photo mat in the pocket. Okay, here we are on page 4 and 5. And essentially it's the same design, just slightly staggered. More of the Say It in crystals. This is fussy cut from the 8x8 collection. I've got some flowers tucked here and there, and this is fussy cut from one of the designer papers. This opens up to reveal some photo and journaling space. And then this opens again, and then I fussy cut one of the die cuts. So the die cuts come with a rather wide border, and so I've actually just trimmed it down a little bit more. And then these are part of the ephemeras. Okay, and then this whole thing is held in place with a magnet. And the same thing is true over here. Now I've staggered this embellishment piece off the side, and it opens the card. And one of the ways to mask the back of this die cut was just to put another one here. So what I did was I laid it down, I kind of traced it out, trimmed off the pieces that would leave a white back on the front, and applied it. And then I left it open so that you could apply your photos here. And then this whole thing opens up. This is a fussy cut from the paper collection, and this is one of the ephemera cards, and it's open backed, as you can see. And this is open as well, so you can slide your photos under it. It's just simple, beautiful papers. I love all the flowers. So a lot of times in my Graphic 45 albums, you'll see I do lots and lots of flaps, which is kind of the design feature for Graphic 45 because there's so many patterns to work with. But with the Prima, what I found is there's so many flowers to work with that I wind up doing my embellishments with the flowers. And it's hard to add a lot of flaps because there's so much dimension to the flowers. So you can't really have flowers on the top and on the inside without it getting too bulky. Okay, the next page is a simple flap. This is magnetized. This is an open-ended fussy cut from one of the collection pages. You open it up and there's just all this photos opportunity. So even though this is just a blank slate, this is actually designed kind of like you could easily add your photo right here and you'd still have this beautiful spray of flowers. So it's gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. This is just some simple twine with 2 flowers and 3 of those crystals. Over here, this is a belly band, and then this is a stationary badge, so it kind of looks like a buckle. I kind of like the idea of that. And then these are just simple ephemera cards, or they're actually called journaling cards with Prima, and I just made them into these simple photo mats. Another large and final photo mat. And then here's our last page. Here's page 8. So on page 8, I decided to use a swing tab. I fussy cut the balloon out of, actually I think it's one of the die cut ephemeras, and I just trimmed it down so there's less white. I added these flowers, which are from the Prima collection, and a brad at the top. And if you swing it, you open the card this way and this way. And then again, this is some twine from my stash, and these are the Prima flowers. So I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. So all in all, I think it's a gorgeous album. I loved working with the flowers, and I love the collection. I think it's very pretty, and these are so adorable. So all of this is available in our shop at www.scrapandcreate.com. And if you go to our site and you click on the Prima page, most of this will come up as at the beginning, but Golden Coast is the name of the collection if you want to search just by the collection. And then the other alternative is to click the More button, and then there's a link, a description and a link to each one of the products. So thanks for tuning in and watching. I know there's a couple of people at least that are waiting for this to come out because I've gotten some emails after the walkthrough. And so here's the album. I hope you guys enjoy it. Again, overall 8.5 by 8.5 with a 2.5-inch spine, and the pages, the internal pages are 8 by 8. And there is a complete tutorial available for this mini album if you want to reproduce it, and it's available on our site. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. This is Daphne from Scrap and Create. See you later.